You know that feeling when you grab something off the shelf at Kohl's because it has a big yellow down ticket on it and you think you're getting a deal? A federal court judge just confirmed what millions of Australians suspected. In many cases, that deal wasn't real. On May 14, Justice Michael O'Brien handed down one of the most significant consumer law rulings in Australian retail history. He found that Kohl's misled shoppers with its down discount program. 13 out of 14 cases examined. Misleading, not genuine. The court's words, not mine. Today we're breaking down exactly what happened, what it means for your weekly shop, and what comes next, because this story is far from over. Let's start with what down actually is, because it's been part of Australian supermarket life for so long that most people don't even question it. Down is Kohl's flagship promotional pricing program. You've seen the ads: bright yellow tickets, cheerful branding, the promise that prices are coming down. Kohl's has run the campaign for over a decade. It's one of the most recognizable marketing campaigns in the country. The idea is simple. A product has a regular price. Kohl's reduces that price. They put a down ticket on it showing the old price and the new lower price. You see the discount, you feel like you're getting a bargain. You put it in your trolley. Except the ACCC, Australia's consumer watchdog, started receiving complaints from shoppers who felt something wasn't right. The discounts didn't feel genuine. The watchdog investigated, and in September 2024, it launched federal court proceedings against Kohl's, alleging that the company had been deceiving customers on a massive scale. The ACCC specific allegation was this: between February 2022 and May 2023, Kohl's took 245 products, temporarily raised their prices by at least 15%, then often within weeks, placed those products on down promotion at prices that either matched or were higher than the original pre-hike price. To the shopper, the ticket said the price had gone down. What actually happened was price went up, then came back down to roughly where it started, or not quite as low as it was before, and Kohl's called that a discount. The court examined a sample of 12 products in detail, with 2 products appearing in separate promotions, giving 14 case studies in total. The products included everyday items like dog food, butter, juice, and cereal. Things that families buy every single week without much thought. Justice O'Brien's finding was clear and damning. He said the relevant products were not sold at the price shown on the ticket for a reasonable period, and as a consequence, the discount represented on the tickets was not genuine. He determined that a reasonable period to establish a genuine original price was 12 weeks. In 13 of the 14 cases, Kohl's had not waited 12 weeks, so the discounts were misleading. Now let's be fair here, because the full picture is more nuanced than the headlines suggest. The court actually accepted a key part of Kohl's defense. Kohl's argued that it raised prices on these products because its suppliers asked for price increases to cover their own rising costs from inflation, supply chain pressures, and higher input costs. The judge agreed. He found Kohl's did not artificially inflate the original prices to make the discounts look bigger than they were. The price increases were real, driven by supplier costs. What Kohl's got wrong and what the court found misleading was the timing. They raised the price, then too quickly slapped a down ticket on it, without letting the higher price sit for long enough for it to become the genuine established price. Kohl's barrister actually argued in court that ordinary consumers understood prices generally went up due to inflation. The judge didn't buy it. He said customers are entitled to expect that a discount advertised on a ticket is a genuine discount from a price that has actually been in place for a meaningful period. Former ACCC Chair Alan Fells, one of Australia's most respected consumer advocates, called it a huge blow to Kohl's. He said he expected the penalties to run into hundreds of millions of dollars. The ACCC's current chair, Gina Cass-Gottlieb, said the case had increased transparency and accountability. In relation to the down program, Kohl's said it was reviewing the judgment, leaving an appeal open. So what actually happens now? First, the penalties. The liability has been established. The fine hasn't been set yet. The parties are due back in court on June 10 for case management on that question. Given that the ACCC alleged the misleading conduct affected 245 products over more than a year, and given the scale of Kohl's operations, the potential fines are enormous. Former ACCC Chair Alan Fell's estimate of hundreds of millions is not considered far-fetched by legal experts. Second, the class action threat. Several law firms have already flagged they are considering class action proceedings on behalf of consumers who bought products under misleading down tickets. If a class action proceeds, Coles could face hundreds of millions more in damages claims. This is a significant legal and financial overhang for the company. Third, Woolworths. The ACCC has separate federal court proceedings underway against Woolworths for similar conduct involving its prices drop program. The Woolworths judgment is reserved, meaning the judge is considering it and will hand down a decision in due course. Today's Coles ruling sets a clear precedent. The 12-week rule is now established. If Woolworths' promotional pricing was also running faster than that, and the ACCC clearly believes it was, the same finding is likely. Fourth, the broader price gouging ban. As we covered on this channel a couple of weeks ago, from July 1st this year, new laws make it illegal for Coles and Woolworths to charge excessive prices relative to supply costs. The court ruling this week and the new laws coming in July are two separate legal frameworks, but together, they represent the most significant regulatory tightening of the supermarket sector in Australian history. Here's what I think is most important about this ruling for ordinary Australians. For years, there's been a nagging sense that something wasn't right at the supermarket checkout. Prices felt high, discounts felt fake, the big yellow tickets felt more like marketing than genuine savings. That feeling turns out to have been correct. A federal court judge, after examining the evidence in detail, concluded that Coles was making misleading representations to its customers. Not rounding errors, not minor technical breaches, misleading representations. Coles reported a net profit after tax of more than $1 billion last year. While everyday Australians were rationing their grocery spending, skipping meals, and shopping around for the cheapest option, the company was running a promotional program that a court has now found was not telling them the truth about what they were actually saving. ACCC barrister Gary Rich put it most memorably during the trial. He told the court, "Why on earth are you telling your customers your prices are going down? They're not." The court agreed. Now, a word of balance. Coles is not alone in facing cost pressures. Supermarkets do operate on thin margins overall. Their suppliers genuinely did raise prices due to inflation and supply chain disruptions. Running a supermarket at scale is genuinely complex, and Coles has said its priority remains delivering value to customers. But the legal finding stands. The way the Down Down program was run, moving products onto discount tickets before the higher price had been genuinely established, was misleading. Full stop. And the penalties that follow will need to reflect the scale of that conduct across 245 products in more than a year. What this ruling does, beyond the immediate legal consequences, is change the conversation. It validates what millions of Australian shoppers felt. It establishes a legal standard, 12 weeks, for what counts as a genuine original price, and it puts every supermarket on notice that the days of running promotional programs without scrutiny are over. Have you felt ripped off by supermarket discount programs? Looking back at your shopping, can you think of times when a down or similar deal didn't feel like a real saving? Drop it in the comments. And if you missed our video on the new price gouging laws coming in July, check that one out too. This ruling and those new laws together tell the full story of where Australian supermarket regulation is heading. Like and subscribe for more Australian news explained simply. See you next time.